my people, it's me, Anja. My pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for a new recent reads video. The first book on this list is called A Forgery of Roses. This book is a YA fantasy following a young girl that has a secret magical gift that allows her to change people through portraits, and she uses this secret magical gift to help uncover a murder. This book is absolutely so good, and it was so awesome, and it really lived up to my expectations, which I really appreciated. I had high expectations for this book because the author previously wrote Seemingly Forgotten last year, which was such a great, unique YA fantasy. I believe it was a YA fantasy retelling of Phantom of the Opera, but like gender bent. But anyway, this book was so awesome. The world building was so unique and it was absolutely so creative. The plot was so engaging and it was so intriguing. The characters were so well developed and so distinct. The romance was absolutely so lovely and it was so cute. The anxiety representation in the love interest was so good. This book is absolutely so amazing and it's so underrated and it deserves so much more hype because it was absolutely so awesome. And honestly, I think this book is better than Seemingly Forgotten, but they're both really good. So anyway, with that said, I ended up rating this book 4 stars, and with that I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called My Dearest, Darkest. This book is a YA paranormal contemporary urban fantasy and follows 2 sapphic girls. One of them is bisexual and the other one is a lesbian, and they are connected through the accidental summoning of a creature within their school that has immense power. I hope that makes sense. This book was absolutely so good, and it really exceeded my level expectations. I had low expectations for this book because honestly, I don't typically love thrillers or paranormal books, but this book absolutely took me by surprise, and it was so good. First of all, the world building was really atmospheric and cohesive, and it really made sense, if that really makes any sense. The characters were well developed and distinct. The sapphic romance was so cute, and it was so lovely, and it was so wonderful. The plot was so engaging, and it was absolutely so intriguing. I will definitely read more books from this author in the future because her writing was so lyrical, and it really made the story so cohesive, if that makes any sense. Like, this book was so good, and it was really cool and really inventive, and it kind of reminded me of like The Devouring Grey and A Lesson in Vengeance, if that makes any sense. So anyway, with that said, I rated this book 4 stars, and I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Witchlings. This book is a middle-grade fantasy following a young girl who must work together with her new coven to do the impossible, or else they'll get turned into toads. This book was good and solid, but it wasn't as great as I was expecting. I had higher expectations for this book because the author previously wrote Ghost Squad, which I read a few months ago, and I really enjoyed it, so I rated it 4 stars. But unfortunately, I rated this book 3 stars because honestly, like, it was action-packed and it was really fast-paced and the plot was engaging, but I felt like the story was too fast-paced and it was too action-packed, and it didn't really give me time to become attached or really connected to the characters, although I understand their like potential and I enjoyed how distinct they were from each other. I was just more intrigued and more interested in the plot and in the events than in the characters, which is unfortunate for me because I tend to prefer characters over the plot, if that makes any sense. Although the world building was inventive and the magic and the coven system and everything was pretty cool and pretty unique, you know what I mean? But the story didn't really stand out to me that much, unfortunately. Although I do definitely understand the comparison to Amari and the Knight Brothers, which, by the way, I also rated 3 stars when I read it last year. Or was that 2 years ago? Anyway, this book was good, but it was not great, although I understand the hype. So anyway, I rated this book 3 stars, and I don't necessarily recommend it myself. The next book on this list is called She Gets the Girl. This book is a YA contemporary following a pair of sapphic girls who are trying to get other girls to fall for them, but they end up falling for each other instead. I hope that makes sense. I really enjoyed this book, honestly, and I rated it 4 stars, so I would highly recommend it, and here's why. The plot was so engaging, and it was absolutely so intriguing. The sapphic romance itself was so well developed, and it was absolutely so fluffy, and it was so cute. And I really enjoyed the contrast in the story between the fluffy, cute moments and the more hard-hitting, emotional moments. If that really makes any sense, this book reminded me of like Love and Other Natural Disasters and the Falling in Love montage, so we love to see it. The only thing that I didn't love as much as all of the other elements is that honestly, Alex felt like a more developed, well-rounded character than Molly did, if that makes any sense. It's just that the writing in Molly's perspectives felt more drawing and less cohesive than the writing in Alex's perspectives. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but basically overall, this book was really good and it was really great, and it definitely deserves all its hype and so much more. So like I mentioned before, I rated it 4 stars, and I would definitely highly recommend it. The last book on this list, and certainly not the least, is called Nothing Burns as Bright as You. This book is a YA contemporary written in verse, and it's about grief, queer love, and the complexities of female friendships, and the main character is Black and Sapphic. This book is so good. It was absolutely so lyrical, and honestly, it really exceeded my very low expectations. I had very low expectations for this book because the last book that I read by this author a few years ago, I didn't really enjoy. So when this book was announced, I really had no interest in it. But then I picked it up on a whim because some people were really enjoying it. And honestly, I agree with the hype. I rated this book 4 stars, which was a great surprise to me, and I really enjoyed it. First of all, the free verse format and the writing was so lyrical and it was so pretty. The characters were so well developed and so distinct. The sapphic romance, friendship, whatever you want to label it, was so cute and it was so well developed and it felt so authentic. The characters felt so lovely, so wonderful, and so realistic. This book is worth all of its hype and so much more because it's absolutely so good and it's so underrated, and it deserves so much more hype because it's so pretty and it's so authentic and it's absolutely so wonderful. So anyway, with all of that said, I rated this book 4 stars and I would highly recommend it, and I will gladly give the author a second chance in the future because I will continue to read her books. Anyway, like I mentioned, I would highly recommend this book. So, in conclusion, if I were to rank these books from best to worst, I would rank them A Forgery of Roses, Nothing Burns as Bright as You, My Dearest, Darkest, She Gets the Girl, and then finally Witchling. So take that as you will. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the ladybug emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching, subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!